Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Zero Wasted Words podcast. I'm here today with Alison from the Yateley 10K road race. This is the first installment in a long line of, well, hopefully long line of podcasts that we're going to be doing to explore what makes a good race a great race. And we're inviting people like Alison to come along and give us their insights and what they've learned along the way. So kind of for people who don't know, Alison, what actually is the 10K Yateley series and how is it structured?
A series, as you say, of 3 races. The first Monday of June, July and August, and they're in the evening. And it started in 1980, long before I was involved. Actually a half marathon.
Interesting, because one of my questions was actually going to be what made it turn from, or what was the inspiration behind it being a series rather than kind of one whole event for the day?
Circumstances being circumstances. Things getting busier, roads getting busier. It actually became a bit too dangerous to run a half marathon around the roads in Yateley. So it was decided, I think, at the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, to make it a 10K. And then the suggestion was made, why don't we make it a series? Because there isn't many out there.
Okay, at that point, it was quite scarce to have a series of races.
Yeah, so you've got June, July and August. Quite competitive for individuals to beat their time, but also you got the same club runners and you tended to get the same 2 or 3 winning, so they were coming back next time to beat him. And it just made it really competitive and good fun, and it did get the reputation of the best midweek series in the south of England.
Yeah, because it happens on a Wednesday, doesn't it? Which actually, for a lot of races, although in your mind you might think putting on a weekday actually might reduce the amount of people who enter. It has worked well for the series so long doing it. And flicking back to what you said a moment ago, where you've got these people competing or groups competing. Was that the original goal, or when you joined, was that the kind of goal to go and kind of create something that was competitive, or was it something that just naturally happened and it was more about community?
It naturally happened. It was more about community, but we have a lot of running clubs locally, and more have come on board. So they tend to enter, you'll get a dozen people from one club, different age groups. And they're all competing against each other because we have prizes, age group prizes. Apart from who actually wins the race, you have the 60-year-old from one club wanting to beat the 60-year-old from the other club because he beat him in June and he's not having it.
I think you've hit something on the head there about inclusivity within rewarding people in these events, where there's 2 sides to it. I think people are very much like, well, there can only be one winner, and that's we celebrate that one winner, but actually succeeding in any fashion within a category is a success anyway, because things for different age groups get more and more difficult. But you've been running this year after year, and you're So what's the key to going kind of consistently then between kind of 2022 and now? So you've been doing it for 4 years. If you were to say what the key is, or one of the keys to keeping it going consistently, what would you say that probably is, do you think?
The changes we made. I decided that it had been run on the same course from the same start and finishing point. We started and finished from a school.
Logistically, it was difficult then. So changing where it is has been
changing venue and changing course.
Okay.
Where it started and finished from, as I say, was a school, and it was run on roads. The roads were getting, again, busier. This is, they're doing quite a bit of building around here. There's new houses. Everybody has 4 cars.
I think that's happening everywhere, isn't it? Expansion in all these towns. So, okay, that's interesting. That's a factor.
Yeah, it was, I just felt running the course myself, it was kind of dangerous. Although we had the roads closed and they were marshalled and we never had any problems. But it just, I don't know. And in this area, we have some fantastic green spaces. And I thought, we're not really showcasing this.
Yeah.
We're not showing it to its best ability. We have a lake. We have, I was going to say surfboarding. It's not quite that.
Paddleboarding, is it?
Paddleboarding, exactly. So there's so much to showcase. We have a football club. We have a cricket club. people don't know these things exist. And they maybe don't live too far outside the area that they wouldn't consider, let's go and do some paddle boarding or whatever else. So I decided in my infinite wisdom that it was time to look for another venue. And the local football club was a big part of Yateley. They came and gave out the medals. And so I had a chat with them, and they nearly bit the hand off me because they have a clubhouse.
Yeah, you mentioned before about the clubhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Just opposite them is a cricket club.
Yeah.
They both have bars.
Okay.
They're in a park.
Okay.
And the whole course is pretty much up till about 6K. It's off-road, on road, but close to traffic.
Right. Okay. So it sounds like if we were to kind of say that the distinguishing point between, you know, a key that's been helping it go consistently is almost like, I don't know, utilizing the area better and utilizing partnerships better with other similar, I don't know, similar infrastructures or similar organizations who ordinarily you might not consider to reach out to because you might think they're too busy or whatever. But, you know, like you say, in your infinite wisdom, you reached out and you said, listen, we've got an opportunity here. We're looking for a new venue. Do you guys need, you know, could you benefit from some extra traffic? And actually marrying those together has been a great success since you've started doing it.
They were absolutely delighted because it gives them, it's off season, so there's no football. They could open the clubhouse. The clubhouse has showers, toilets, so we could cut down on the amount of portaloos.
Of course, your costs for those, because normally you've got to hire them all out and everything like that. And now this, you get to use their resources, and people get to see their resources as well. And go, so that's quite a well-equipped place, you know. It's
great, and the cricket club has similar facilities which we're allowed to use, which again is great. There's food available. They put food on.
Yeah.
So people hang around for a wee bit longer. They have drinks.
That's good.
So it's win-win. The other thing I thought was, having run it myself over quite a few years and doing the series, I thought, oh, it's Yateley again. Oh, do you know what? I've done it. And we just wanted to make it different, make the course different. So it was a whole challenge last year. Everything changed, and it really was a lot of work.
So that's something that you kind of changed the most in the last few years.
Oh yeah.
That was what you changed. That last year was the first time you did that.
Last year,
yeah. So it's kind of, when you started doing it, you recognized that something needed to change. It took a few years to actually put the nail in and go, this is what it needs to be. Obviously, you did to run it the way it was, and you had people turn up, but you know it could be better, and so you did make it better from
that. Numbers were dropping off as well. The races were. Years ago, before I came on board, we had 1,000, and it was booked. You know, we were lucky if we were getting 600 entries,
right?
And then you always get 100 that don't turn up.
Yeah,
and that was another influencing factor. And I thought something has to change. People are getting complacent.
Yeah,
and a bit like me.
There are young runners who join it, but for the amount of young runners who join it, it doesn't beat the fall off of the people who've done it. You know, it's like you say, if it's been going since the 80s, early 90s, people have been doing it for 10, 20 years. They're going to have ticked the box enough times to know what their best time is, and they're not going to need to come back unless they're competing in a club or something else. What's kind of something through that then, within the 4 years, that you've learned the hard way out of the experience? What's one thing that you kind of take away on, well, that was a hard lesson to learn that kind of didn't work?
But I think the dropping off of entries, we have a charity event, and if we don't get enough entries, we don't have very much money to give away. And we give money to obviously the venues we use, and there's certain things that organisations that always get money.
Yeah,
it starts to make it unviable. If you're not making any money, why are you asking people to volunteer and stand by a road?
Yeah, very true. You've got to consider that, haven't you, on both sides? And when you look at the event, that's kind of one thing then that kind of looks like success, doesn't it, to the event? Is there anything else that looks like success when you think about the event? Is it the, you know, the atmosphere, the feedback, repeat runs? How do you gauge success with a good event?
Well, at the end of the day, money. How much money we can give away.
Yeah.
Feedback since the change of venue has been amazing.
Yeah.
And entries this year, the way it works with us, I've capped them, I think, at 850. I'll need to check your invoice. I'm sure it's 850.
It could be, yeah, it could be.
Yeah, I'm sure I upped it 50. 850 entries. Normally by this point, even with the change of venue last year and people were a wee bit curious, it would normally be 500 entries.
Yeah.
The 2 weeks before the race, it would go a bit mad because people would say, oh God, I meant to enter that. It's always a bit mad. I think we're about 700 odd entries.
That's good.
And we'll still have entries on the night because people still do that.
It's good that you allow that, because some races, you know, you're capped on what you're allowed to have on the roads and stuff as well. Obviously, it's hard to measure, but you know, you have to cap it somewhere.
Well, I have found you have approximately 100 runners don't turn up for whatever reason.
I suppose you can float that, and then there's people who turn up. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, the feedback has been amazing. I've spoken to other club runners, have been saying I'm really looking forward to Yateley this year, which I never heard before.
So you keep your ear to the ground when it comes to local response, which is great, because I think some people might expect to set up an event, and I think in our mind it's really easy to convince ourselves that it's going to be great and everyone else will see it how we see it. But actually they're seeing it from their own perspective, and you don't know actually how it's going to be perceived or picked up, or they might go, that's similar to whatever it was so and so many years ago. And if you're not aware of that, it might just be something else. When you say about feedback, how do you collect the feedback? Is it that you just listen and you hear the feedback that's out there, or do you have a formal way of gathering the feedback? Do you use things like reviews and stuff like that after the race?
We have another thing we did, which we thought was worth doing last year and this year, was we have a couple of volunteers that do our marketing.
Nice.
And they are great.
Yeah.
And they collect feedback. Also, Race Ahead, our timing people, they collect feedback and they share it with us. So we've got it coming from different directions, but certainly advertising, Instagram, posters, all of that. I mean, Jenny is a lot younger than me, but then everybody's a lot younger than me. We were never particularly into that. And we didn't have to be. When you have a maximum of 1,000 runners and a race is full, then you don't worry about it.
No, and
things have changed.
You begin to get complacent. Then you run the risk of complacency, don't you? And if this fall off would have been predictable by maybe a decline in review or feedback over the years, if you know the person back then when internet was less used in a way with the clipboard, and they would say, well, the average, you know, that people score out of 10 used to be 9. This year it's 8.5. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. If they did that back then, the change might have happened earlier, and you might be in a very different position.
People have less money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they have less disposable income. The other thing we've managed to do